So, today we're going to talk about what happens when you sit all day. And let me tell you, it's not good. So, I'm going to cover some of the things that tend to happen when sitting all day. And I really think it's important to cover this because a lot of us these days are in jobs where, we work from the computer. You see my workstation back here. So, now a lot of us are doing YouTube, we're creating content. And in fact, with that type of job, you may spend hours and hours just sitting at a computer editing, looking, sitting from your desk, whatever the case is. And so there's just a lot of health risks associated with sitting all day, something that I want to share with you, some information, but more importantly, I want to share with you some ways and some hacks for being able to continue to move around, even if you are maybe in the type of job that requires you to sit all day or just work from a computer or whatever. You're running your own business and you have to do a lot of sitting. So I'm going to share some information with you. But before I get into that, I'll start by just telling you a little bit about me. I'm Dr. Nicole LaShawn, a nurse practitioner with a background in family medicine. Here on this channel, I talk about things related to health, wellness, nutrition, and travel. And I help Black women ages 40 and up to create a life that we want to live rather than the one that has been assigned to us. So this space is welcome. Welcome. If you haven't seen me before, thank you so much for tuning in, for join the family. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Let's have some fun. And if you don't agree with me, let's fight it out in the comments because, that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So let's just get into it. Okay, so some of the things that happen when we sit all day include increasing our risk for things such as heart disease, obesity, weight gain, cancer, diabetes. In fact, sitting all day increases the likelihood that you're going to develop varicose veins, high blood pressure, low back pain, knee pain, and even have mental health conditions such as depression. And I just think it's so important that we remind ourselves, especially as things are becoming more convenient, right? Working from home is convenient for a lot of people who have that opportunity, but at the same time, we have to be mindful of the impact that it's having on our health and ways in which we combat that. And so that's what I want to share with you today is some ways in which we can combat these negative health things that can come from sitting all day. And even if you don't work from home, if you're just somebody who is, retired and just, enjoying your life, but you want to, find ways to ensure that you're maintaining a good, health routine, I think that some of the information that I provide today will also be beneficial to you as well. And it's kind of funny because being that I'm a nurse, I remember back years and years and years ago, when we as nurses, we would get patients in the hospital. I used to work in the hospital, one of the major hospitals here in the Twin Cities. And whenever we would have patients come in for whatever issue they were having, essentially everybody was pretty much on bed rest. Yeah, so if you are an old school nurse and you remember those days, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Everybody was pretty much on bed rest when they came into the hospital. And it doesn't matter what they were there for. They could have been there for an arm injury, and pretty much they were going to be strapped into their bed. Like, that was just the expectation in the hospital, was that you're going to be in the bed, because if you're sick enough to be in the hospital, then you're probably, too sick to get out of the bed. What we saw as nurses, however, back in those days was we saw how patients overall declined the more that they stayed in bed over time. So what we all as nurses started to realize was that our patients who were least willing to be active while they were in the hospital, the more likely they were going to be to develop either complications, infections, secondary infections, difficulty with healing, prolonged stays in the hospital, just so many things were going to potentially happen for the people who were least active. And I know that probably now in 2023, it's common knowledge that being active and getting up and moving around actually helps your overall health. But it's just kind of funny because I've been in healthcare long enough to have watched that progression. So of course now, in these days, if you get into the hospital and you're there for something, let's say you have a hand injury, we are trying to get you out of bed as soon as possible because, you know, the more you lay in the bed, the more that you're sedentary, the more likely that you're going to, you know, just have more problems and end up staying longer, or just overall not doing as well as you could if you get up and get moving. Because we know that the research shows there's so many benefits overall to your health of just getting up and getting moving. So, you know, if you have the blessing of mobility today, let me just remind you, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. Try, get up, get out, get moving. If you can, get out and take a walk. But moving your body, the bodies that we're given, they are a gift, and it serves our health well to keep moving. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have found to be really helpful to keep my body moving, keep my body healthy, and some of the things that I recommend if you're somebody who like works from home or works at a computer all day. And I am going to be referring to my notes. So and of course now we know the research supports this, right? Thank goodness for research. And evidence-based medicine is what we call it now, that we can now tell people that it's in your best interest that you get up. Like, we can prescribe daily walks for people who you know, don't really want to get moving because of whatever they have going on. And it just helps overall with the recovery, and it's just so much better for our health overall. So one of the things that you can do to kind of help with staying moving is set a timer about every hour, 1 to 2 hours, in order to remind yourself to get up and move. So if you're somebody who is working from home, working from a computer, you're doing YouTube, you're editing videos or whatever it is that you're doing that requires you to be at your computer all day, set a timer for about every hour or set a reminder. And when you hear it, just remind yourself to stand up, you know, walk around, move around. One thing that's really, really interesting about exercise is that what we found is that it's as beneficial to get exercise throughout the day as it is to have a dedicated time of exercise. So I know it's really popular to like go to the gym and put in 45 minutes, but it's also equally beneficial to like do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, and then at the end of the day, if you have 30 minutes, the cumulative effect is as beneficial as doing it all in one session. So you don't have to do it all. You don't have to necessarily have a whole 45 minutes allocated to the start of your day. But if you can do 5-10 minutes throughout the day, it's going to help you. And I think that's why these step counters are becoming so popular in the last several years, because we now know that if you're able to get these steps in on a daily basis, as opposed to like all in the morning, that there are definitely health benefits associated with it. So don't feel like you have to get it all in the morning, or you have to have a gym membership, or you have to go spend money, because you really don't. You can literally just spend 5-10 minutes in different, you know, little times throughout your day doing some activity, and at the end of that, it is going to benefit you. Number 2, in order to stay fit and stay healthy despite working at a computer all day, is to try and set your computer height at good neck alignment. So having like a desk riser if you are going to be standing, or setting your computer height so that your neck and your chin are in alignment so that your head is not down. Also, if you're someone who tends to do a lot of work from your phone, right? Because these days, you know, we can work from anywhere, which, you know, it has its benefits. It has its pros and its cons, right? Like, you can go anywhere, but at the same time, if you're working all day, and especially if your head is down like this, you're going to be more prone to having issues associated with your neck. And also what we call repetitive movement syndromes or repetitive movement type conditions if you're doing that same movement all day, every day. So trying to set your computer or whatever it is that you're working on at a height that keeps you in alignment is going to really help you to stay healthy, stay fit. Also, number 3, try and stretch your body on a regular basis. This is important, especially because if you are working from home or working at a computer all day, there's a good chance that you are using your dominant hand to do most of your activities all day long, like especially if it's computer based. If you're in a different type of environment that involves you standing, or if you're producing like boxes, or if you're working in a factory, there's a higher chance that you're going to be using the balance of 2 hands. That's just going to be required to do your job. But when you're working from home, there's going to be a tendency that you're going to become really dominant sided, right? Like you're going to be using your dominant hand all day. So stretching, and especially making sure that you stretch your non-dominant side, is important. What we tend to see in healthcare is that, when you're always using one side, you can develop imbalances in your muscle tone, right? Which would make sense, in your strength, right, in one side compared to the other. So one thing to be mindful of is that it's important to try and create some balances throughout your day through stretching, right? Stretching both sides, or try using your other hand to do things that you normally would not do. So one thing that I kind of do is that I'm right-handed, and so I'm oftentimes using my right hand, but in order to try and bring balance and create challenges for my brain as well cognitively, is I will sometimes try and use my other hand. So like using your other hand to brush your teeth, or if you would normally use your right hand, right, or whatever dominant hand to put on and take on glasses, or to pick up your beverage, or whatever the case is, I try to be intentional about using my other hand throughout the day to try and create more of a balance. So that way at the end of the day, this side of my body isn't so tight and tense and overworked that I'm starting to get like pains, or people can start to develop pains in their neck, pains in their shoulders, pains in their elbows, because of this constant repetitive movement and the imbalance that develops as a result. Number 4 tip that I have is to wear your workout gear during the day if you work from home. Actually, that's one of my things I do, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Yes, this is my desk. This is my real desk. Yes, I do work from home. Yes, I do have on a lab coat. But let me just be honest. When I get up in the morning, guess what I do? I put on my my workout gear, because it really helps to just help you feel ready to be active. So that way during the day when I do have breaks, because nobody's gonna know what I have on. They're not gonna know, right? They're not gonna know that I have on my workout gear under the lab coat. And so if you're in the type of job where you're at home, or even if you're just at home and you don't work, right? The truth is, if you wake up every day, and this is a part of my routine, is that generally every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to put on something that makes me feel comfortable to work out in, because my goal on most days, most every day, is to exercise or to get movement or do a daily walk. And I really love to incorporate a daily walk. And actually I did make a video on the benefits of daily walking, and I will link that video below. But there are so many health benefits to being able to get in a daily walk. So if you're able to, working from home or being at home, and you generally do a lot of sitting, try to prioritize getting in a daily walk. It has so many benefits: getting fresh air, being out in nature. Watch the video below. That's where I share more about that. But yeah, wearing your workout clothes will just help you feel more ready to step away from your desk and do a stretch, do a 5-minute workout, do some yoga, run in place, whatever the case is. It will just help you to feel more ready to just get it in when you can during the day. Number 5 tip that I have is to post a few different exercises on your board in front of your desk. If you have one, like mine is right there. So if you actually have some visual cues, it can help you to remember to incorporate some movement into your day. So if you just have a couple of photos of like someone doing some squats, or someone doing, some stretching, or someone doing some windmills, or whatever the case is, which are all things that you can actually do in just a couple minutes while sitting down, while just being at your desk, just by stepping away. Those are going to help to remind you to incorporate some movement into your day. And so I like having those as reminders, some visual cues, and I actually have my workout schedule in front of me, which helps also, which I think is really important. Really helps for me to not have to think about or figure out what to do. We have to make so many decisions during our day. And I think one of the main barriers for a lot of people with incorporating fitness and exercise into their routine is trying to figure out what to do, right? There's so many options. There's so much information that, you can literally spend the 5 minutes that you have on YouTube trying to figure out what to do, right? So if you can actually try and streamline it where you know exactly how you're going to spend that 5 minutes and not waste that time scrolling, then it's just going to help. It's going to help the situation. So try and post a few moves that you find that you can do easily, that don't require you to be in a different space, that doesn't require you to go buy weights or buy equipment, right? You don't have to do all that. And you can actually use things from home as weights if you want to. But yeah, having something posted is really help. It helps to decrease decision fatigue. You know what to do. You just get it done, and it's done. Number 6 tip that I have for you is to try and walk or move while taking calls. So if the type of work that you do from home requires you to be on phone for several minutes at a time, then that can be time allocated to moving around. Just remind yourself that you are not glued to your desk, right? You're not glued to it. So at the time, if you're on the phone, hopefully you're able to just step away. You can walk around, you can walk in circles, you can walk out and get some fresh air, whatever works best for you. But just remind yourself that you're not glued to your desk can be helpful. The other thing that I also like to do is with my desk set up at home, I actually keep a few things that I use regularly away from my desk, right? So like my scissors, my stapler, those types of things. I know that you'll be told to keep everything on your desk, but I actually like to keep those things away from my desk because it forces me, when I need them, to have to go walk, to go use them, and then return, right? It creates walking into my normal rhythm at home. Whereas when you work from home, to be honest, you can be set up, if everything is at your desk, where there's no rhythm that requires you to walk or move. And that is not in your best interest. So if at all possible, if you can like space things out, for example, like my printer is not here by my desk. So if I have to print something, think of kind of like if you were in an office environment, if there are things that you had to get, like there's a good chance they're not going to all just be right here at an arm's length, right? So for me, like I have to leave my desk and walk to my printer. I have to leave my desk and walk to, the various different things. And that helps to incorporate a forced rhythm of movement into my day, where I otherwise would honestly just sit here and like if my printer was under my desk, I would just grab the paper off of it. And I think that is all that I have. I hope that you find that helpful. The goal here is just for us to be healthy and enjoy our life. And of course, working from home has so many benefits. And so we definitely want to ensure that we're taking care of our health even while working from home. So I hope that you find this helpful. And let me know in the comments what things you like to do when working from home. And I will see you next time. Bye.